Unleashed family, I'm Beth, and I'm here with Patrick.
Hello.
And we're going to share our top 4 quotes with you.
All right. So the first one I have here is happiness is something we decide on. Happiness is something that we decide on. We all know that nobody is immune to negativity, stress about life, money, family, love, and everything. But one thing we realize is that we don't even have to create negativity. It's already there. It's among our friends, our families, social circles, in the media. It's all over everywhere in the world. But the secret is that our brain does a great job. The way we interpret this negativity around us tend to affect our being, our emotion, and how we feel. If we are able to build a stronger belief system, then our interpretations will be different. Remember that we have a role to play to maintain our happiness. We need to make an effort to maintain our happiness. 1, we need to fight negativity out in order to maintain our happiness. So things that are sources of negativity to us, it could be friends, it could be the books we read, it could be the music we listen to. We need to fight them out. If we don't fight these sources of negativity and they are still lingering in our lives, then it's going to be hard to maintain our happiness. So another thing that we can also do to uplift ourselves up from negativity is to challenge our emotions. So you are feeling down because you don't have enough money, because you have that financial stress. You have to ask yourself, is this true? Yes, it is. Of course, because you're having the emotion. Second, what can you do to get out of that situation? So that feeling is offering you an opportunity to dig yourself out. So if you look at it objectively and look at the ways to be able to come out of that, then you will realize that you might need some education on your problem. You might need to talk to experts. You might need to read about people who have been through the similar situation and learn from their experience. You might need to take classes. And once you do these things, you are participating in maintaining your happiness. But if we don't put up any effort, if we don't act on these information we get, then we are just allowing negativity to take over. So we always have a role to play in maintaining our happiness by staying positive.
Right. Emotions are temporary. Positive is something we can use to get through anything, right?
Right.
So our second quote is, I attribute my success to this. I never gave or took any excuse. So I was what you would consider a classic worst case scenario thinker, right? And Patrick would attest to that. I used to weigh the pros and the cons in my mind. And if the cons outweighed the pros, I would justify that was reason enough to not take action or move forward. Mm-hmm. But here's the thing. Our brains are programmed to keep us from taking any risk that could bring potential harm to our bodies, right? So innately, our brains are there to help us keep us in our comfort zone, and keep us in the status quo. So we have to make that decision, that choice, to make sure any of those negative thoughts are not used as an excuse to not move forward, because we know that the only way to not succeed is by not taking action, is by not moving forward. And to be great at anything, no matter what it is that you choose to do in life, there's a bit of risk, there's a bit of faith, a bit of trust in the process, right? So I encourage you, when you're analyzing, when you're weighing those pros and those cons, to make sure that you're not letting those negative thoughts, the brain pop in and become an excuse to not take action, to not move forward, and to not become the best version of yourself.
That's true. Mm-hmm. And remember, if you don't do anything, you don't get anything.
Right.
So you will still remain, neutral. Mm-hmm. All right. The third one for me is that life is not about accumulation. Life is about contribution. Life is about contribution. So remember that popular quote that says that there's no U-Haul. You've never seen a U-Haul behind a hearse. So you never see anybody buried with their property. That is to tell us that it doesn't matter what we accumulate, we will leave it behind. But what is lasting is the feelings, It's the emotions, it's the impact you leave in people's life. So the contribution you put up in people's daily activity. The holy books put it in a very nice way by saying that the measure to which you give is the same measure to which you will receive. Remember, if you accumulate and you are not giving, you don't receive anything. But then if you are giving, you get in return the same measure. If you are giving smiles, you receive smiles. If you are giving happiness to others, you receive that. On the contrary, if you are giving pain, if you are causing frustration, if you are causing heartbreaking in people's life, you are going to receive that same thing. So if you are mindful of that, sometimes these things, the table turns and the things we do come around. We are mindful, we are cautious of what we put out there. So remember that each day we have a responsibility to contribute to somebody's life, to contribute to making somebody's life a better life for them. And in return, it will come back to us, our children, our family, or generations after us.
Right. And when you're giving, you'll see that you're receiving so much more than what you gave.
Right.
And you're leaving the world a better place. So keep that in mind. And our fourth quote is, I am not a product of my circumstances. I am a product of my decisions. And we've talked in this group before
Right.
about victimization and the impact that can have both personally and globally, feelings of isolation, self-pity. And it's not to say that there are not victims in this world, because there are. There are people who've gone through terrible circumstances, horrible situations. I mean, you've been through your fair share of that, right?
I've always stood on the side that victimization paralyzes you. If you're always, accepting that position of being a victim, you never see the way out of your problem.
Right.
But if you want to see everything is dependent on you, if you feel like, man, I have to do everything to get out of this and ignore, because victimization holds us back. So avoiding to see yourself as a victim gives you a
Right.
way out.
And when you claim yourself as a victim, you give up that power,
Right.
that control. And that's one of the most beautiful gifts we've ever been given, and that's the power to choose, right? The power to decide. So no matter how ugly the circumstance, the environment, the traumatic situation, remember that you both have the inner strength and you have that power to decide what your today, what your tomorrow will look like, what the product of your future will be. So keep that in mind. Know that there's hope, there's faith, there's trust, and believe in yourself. Believe in the power you have to decide what your future will look like.
All right. Well, go ahead and like if you like this video. You can share with your friends, your family. You can also leave behind a comment or any note or message you have for us. And as always, stay positive and stay motivated.